introduced them. They have married. Many are living good. Most of them. There are a few that didn't work out, and I think we could talk about why marriages don't work out, and so we look into that. Is important too. But the thing is that most of them have worked out, and subhanAllah, I feel good about it. Some of them pretty young, some of them in their later stage of life and so on. So I think it is important to, for us to play a role to help people to get a mate for marriage is an important thing. Because many people, and you're right, remember the Islamic concept. People know that, look, as a young boy or young girl, we are not allowed as Muslims to go and flirt, meaning that to go cinema with your girlfriend or boyfriend, or to go and sleep overnight, or to go on a vacation together and so on. Islam don't have that. We can socialize, but there's limitations even in socializing. Based again on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that if two people who can get married would be alone together without others around, and so you have the third party shaitan that could come in there and cause things to happen. So Islam allows all that. We have things in place, you know, to keep people on a safe path in a state of purity and so on. So I think it's very important for you all to, and I want to say upfront congratulations to Mssl to want to do this. Sure. It has happened before that there are people, and people have come together to try or made the attempt to have marriage bureau going. But you know what happened? It did not work out for many reasons, and maybe we'll look at some of the reasons for, inshallah.
Okay, and in the past you mentioned just now that a lot of marriage bureaus that didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
Is it because that the organization itself wasn't set up in a way to run at lengthy periods?
Yeah, it could be so. I think that the reason that some didn't work out, it did not get off the ground properly. I want to say that if you're going to do something, from the experience I've had, basically in organization, if you talk to people who are involved in organization, who are experts in management, and so they will tell you, if you're going to do something, do it good. Meaning that the basic setup should have a good foundation with your proper procedures put in place, looking at all your limitations and so on. It would make sense you start something, but you didn't start it up, you know, wholeheartedly. You didn't get people involved who are really serious to get this thing going. And you did not set it up in writing. You have to have rules and regulations and limitations, everything in writing. Not that you set up something by word of mouth. And when you do that, and then you invite people to come together, they sit down there, and every time you get together, you get a different opinion coming and a different idea coming, and you're injecting things and you're taking out things. It would not work good. You need to really put things in writing. This is the marriage bureau. What are the aims and objectives of it? First of all, you must have your objectives clearly stated. Yeah. You may also want to have a mission and a vision. Why not? Where we want to go to, how are we going to reach there? What are the things, criteria we need to reach there, and so on. And then you also look and see, well, who are the people you want on board in terms of the experiences, and so you want to have people on board. And then you have, so what are the procedures to get there, to achieve these objectives, step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And it is true, while you're going along, things could come about, and you may have to make amendments or so as you experience certain things. But at the same time, you must have these basic things being set up. And again, always keep in mind, what is our objective, or what are our objectives? Never ever lose that focus, because many a times you form an organization, you forget the main objective of the organization, and you end up going down the road, and you're doing things that not at all related to your objective, and then you lose focus. So one has to be very careful about that. I think that has been a major problem, you know, generally speaking.
Okay, and Ismail, I know you're pretty young, you're 19 years old.
Yes, yes.
You think in your little experience outside in the world, that a service like this is needed for especially youths between your age and who's getting a bit older now, maybe thinking any part of marriage. You think that this will be beneficial to guys your age?
Well, you see, inshallah, you know, once you have a system and a format in place, and it is halal within the confinements of Islam, that is the main thing. Because you know, a lot of youths these days, you know, they're being pressured, and you know, majority, you go to all these events and you will hear the people saying it's very hard to find the right person, boys and girls, and there's a bunch of brothers and sisters who keep saying, you know, I can't get married because there's not the right one, you know. So inshallah, I hope this Muslim marriage service will help, inshallah, and that you know, inshallah, it'll be successful. As you said, you've been getting a lot of registration, and so forth. So
just one more question to you, Ismail. When you go to events, say Muslim events, right? some Muslim events are a bit more heavily guarded than others, right? In those events where you find we're not allowed to mix in Islam, right? How do you go about meeting that right person? Is it that you prefer that your parents do that part for you, to maybe talk to another family member and have introductions like that? Would you prefer that personally?
Well,
or would you prefer meeting that person for yourself then?
Actually, I would prefer, my parents meet the other parents. Another thing is that you see a lot of young people these days, they are afraid that they won't find the right one. You see, this is where, the trust of Allah comes in. People should have faith, and they would find things impossible at times. But, the main thing, inshallah, is just you have to put your faith in Allah and pray istikhara, inshallah, and, inshallah, Allah will bless us.
Inshallah.
With right
Yeah, that's brother Ismail, and he's only 19 years old, so imagine that. So if any prospective, inshallah, wives outside there, he's single also. But Manuel, back to the focus again. This program, I know it from my experience in Toronto Jamaats, in Jamaats in Toronto, that they have a marriage program every month where they meet. They have prospective candidates come in, and they have the imams, they have the alims, whoever. They meet, and the brother or sister, they will meet on a table separate, each table. Now, in this table, they will not be by themselves. There will be a person sitting on each table, or there will be 2 desks facing each other, and one person in the middle of it, always supervised.
Well, while they may want, it's a procedure, right? And we must want to respect whatever procedure organizations have, as long as it work. And by the end of the day, it doesn't mean that people wouldn't get to talk to each other. They want to. Now we have so much different kind of communication, including the internet, and everybody has a telephone or two, right? So the fact that the major thing here is that the role the Bureau will play is to introduce these people. For example, this young man here, Ismail, we got to talk to him. Would you like to you want to get married? Yes, I think I want to get married now. I would like to get married. What kind of person you're looking for marriage? First of all, there's a basic concept about a girl that any Muslim boy should marry to, based on the hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that there are 4 categories, or 4, how should I, help me with the wording, 4 basic things that a boy will look for in a girl for married. Her wealth, right? Her wealth, her beauty, her lineage, and of course, piety. And the Prophet ﷺ said the best of all these 4 things is that piety. You will never ever be a loser if you marry a girl because she is pious. While Ismail may know that, Ismail does not know the other girls, the other people in the community and so on, unless, and you mentioned about he has been going out to functions, and so he might be introduced to some families, he might be seeing somebody around and so. Because while we are not allowed to mix in the sense that we do go intermingling and think too much, we can, under the supervision of others, people around, adults, others, we can talk to each other and so, right? There's limitations to that too. And of course, he can ask the girl, so what do you do? And okay, which masjid do you go to? And if he's going to Islamic functions regular and seeing this young lady who dressed in the hijab, and when time for salat, you realize she's going to perform salat and so on. There's a certain amount of things that will come. And of course, if you realize, but she's going down room too and taking classes, subhanallah, and all these things. So there's some things. Now, he'll still want to find out about this young lady in terms of background and so. Remember too, and as he was speaking, it come to my mind that the professor, in fact, one of the responsibility of parents is to ensure that your children get married and to get married to good people. Both daughters, you have to ensure they get good husbands. You have sons, you want to ensure they get good daughters. No, when I'm using the word good, I'm talking in terms of the piety, the religious activities and religious conduct and so on. But I also mean the general discipline also. And then, are they prepared for the responsibilities of marriage? There are a lot of things involved in it. We can introduce a young man to a young girl who's very pious. But if she does not know anything about responsibilities of